One of the strangest events you'll ever hear is an event we call the Curse of 27. The Curse of 27 has to do with a number of rock stars who passed away at that tragic age. If you remember the lick I opened with, it's a song called The Last Time by the Rolling Stones. And Brian Jones died in 1969 at the age of 27. Now, even though Brian Jones's death is shrouded in mystery, his death started a string of rock stars who would follow. And if we go back to the beginning of the creator of rock and roll, the great bluesman Robert Johnson, you might well know that Robert Johnson also passed away at that fateful age. After Brian Jones died, major rock icons followed. Like, for instance, did you know Janis Joplin was 27 when she died? Hendrix died 2 weeks before, another member of the club at 27. And Janis Joplin was said to have remarked, "Well, I'm sure glad I didn't die today because he'd get all the press." Well, she didn't need to worry. She was dead 2 weeks later. In Miami, Jim Morrison was on trial for indecent exposure. When he went to a bar with some friends and he read in the paper that both Joplin and Hendrix had died 2 weeks apart, he turns to his friends and says, "You know, you're drinking with number 3. Well, on July 2nd, 1971, exactly 2 years to the day, Jim Morrison died in his bath in a hotel in Paris, exactly to the date of Brian Jones's death in water in his swimming pool. So what's interesting, 4 of the major rock icons of the 60s were dead within a number of years. The curse didn't end there. You had other stars like Blind Al Wilson of Canned Heat, died at 27. Pigpen of the Grateful Dead, died at 27. Chris Bell from Big Star, death at 27. And probably the unluckiest group in music history, Badfinger. Pete Ham, the great composer of many great songs like Without You, Baby Blue, committed suicide at the age of 27. So another victim of the Curse of 27. What makes Badfinger so tragic is that bassist Tom Evans also committed suicide by hanging himself a few years later. The curse continued because Kurt Cobain was 27 when he died. And after Kurt Cobain, Kristen Pfaff from Hole, the bassist, also passed away a few weeks later in Seattle at the age of 27. Brad Newell from Sublime died at 27. Jason Thirsk of Pennywise, dead at 27. And the list continues. I was reading in a music magazine that John Mayer was asked what one of his greatest accomplishments was. And he said this, "Well, I made it past 27. This is Gary Patterson. Thanks for walking with me on the dark side. You know, you may think some of these stories are fact and some are fiction, but one thing for certain, you'll never listen to your music exactly the same way again.